The NFL Combine is underway, but behind the scenes, the Lions are buzzing with speculation that could directly impact their defense. Aaron Schatz has proposed a bold move involving one of the team's starters and a highly valued Cowboys player. And that's not all. A surprising trade scenario has been suggested, putting a 5-time Pro Bowler pass rusher on Detroit's radar. But does it make sense? The decisions the Lions make now could shape the future of their defense. You can't miss a single detail, so don't forget to like the video and let's get started. The NFL Combine may be in full swing, and everyone's focused on the top draft prospects, but let's not forget that free agency is just around the corner. There are only 11 days left before negotiations officially begin, so speculation is already heating up. And here comes Aaron Schatz from ESPN with a very intriguing idea for the Lions. Let Levi Onwuzurike walk and bring in Osa Odighizuwa from the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if we take a cold, hard look at it, this move makes sense. Onwuzurike, a second-round pick for the Lions, had a solid 2024 season, racking up 47 pressures and 3 sacks. But the problem is his history. He's only managed to play 1 full season in his career. On the other hand, Odighizuwa has missed just 1 game since entering the league in 2021 and has been a full-time starter for the Cowboys for the past 3 years. In 2024, he recorded 60 pressures and 7 sacks, numbers that stand out. The big question for Detroit is whether they believe Onwuzurike has truly taken a leap forward, or if 2024 was just an isolated peak. Then there's the financial side of things. According to cap expert Joshua Queipo, Onwuzurike is expected to receive an offer in the range of $28 million over 2 years. Odighizuwa, 4 years, $94 million. Yes, it's a much bigger investment, but it's also a much safer bet. So, is it worth it? It certainly seems so. Odighizuwa is more reliable, more productive, and far less likely to miss time due to injury. The real issue is whether he'll actually be available. The Cowboys want to keep him, but they have a tricky salary cap puzzle to solve. They need to decide what to do with DeMarcus Lawrence while also preparing for the massive contract that Micah Parsons is going to command. If Odighizuwa hits the open market, the Lions should seriously consider making a move. What would you do in this situation? Would you take a bold step or stick to the current plan? Let us know in the comments. But hold on, because the next rumor involves a huge name and one of the NFL's biggest contracts. The idea of the Lions adding an elite pass rusher to play alongside Aiden Hutchinson sounds great in theory, but in practice, it seems like GM Brad Holmes has already shut that conversation down. During the NFL Combine, he all but dismissed the idea of bringing in another top-tier edge rusher. That doesn't mean Detroit won't strengthen the position, but forget about names like Myles Garrett or Max Crosby. The team is more likely to target a solid veteran or even a young talent in the draft. Now, here's the trade proposal suggested by Gary Davenport from Bleacher Report. The Lions would send a 2025 4th-round pick to the Chargers in exchange for Joey Bosa. On paper, it looks like a great deal, right? A 5-time Pro Bowler pass rusher for a relatively low draft pick? But here's the problem. Bosa carries a massive $36 million cap hit in the final year of his contract. Even worse, his last few seasons have been plagued by injuries and declining production. Davenport argues that among the teams mentioned as potential landing spots for top edge rushers, the Lions are a strong fit. Plus, playing for one of the most talented rosters in the NFC could be exactly what Bosa needs to revitalize his career. But the real question is, are the Lions actually interested? For this trade to make sense, Bosa's contract would have to be completely restructured. On top of that, he'd likely want an extension. If the Chargers simply released him, the situation would change. Detroit might try to sign him on a more team-friendly deal. But giving up even a 4th-round pick for a player with an injury history and a massive contract, that seems like a very risky move. Verdict: this trade doesn't make much sense for the Lions. If Bosa is cut and willing to sign a more affordable deal, then maybe it's worth considering. Otherwise, Detroit has better options to strengthen its pass rush without jeopardizing its salary cap. The Lions need to improve their defense, but at what cost? Investing heavily in a reliable player could be the right move, but a bad contract could hurt the team's future. In the end, every decision must be carefully calculated, If any of these moves actually happen, we'll be tracking everything closely, so make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates on the Lions.